Welcome to Chapter 4, Selections. I'm going to show you how to select a variety of things. You'll notice that I have many files open here. The ones that I'm using, because there's so many files in the tab view, they give you these double arrows here which you can see all the files and you can move to them quickly. But basically they're PS basic selections, all of them. So anything you see selections, all of them, to make it easier on you. The most basic selection you will make in Photoshop is the rectangular marquee. In order to do that, you select the rectangular marquee, shortcut M, and just click, drag. That's it. When you're done, you'll see marching ants around the rectangle that you made. To get rid of this selection, you just press Control D or go into the select menu and say deselect. Control D, deselect. Get it? Now let me try this one more time. Click and drag. Okay. Now let's say you're not happy with your selection and you need to move it into place. Move your cursor within the selection and you can move your selection around. Okay. If you feel that it's maybe still a little bit off, let's say right about here, press your left arrow key to move it into place, called nudging. Press Shift and the left arrow key. Now move it in increments of 10. If you move it down, press Shift and press the down arrow key and moves it in 10. Press Shift and press up. Press Shift and press right. You do the same thing. Now press Control D to deselect. Another way is to click and drag the marquee, okay, and press the space bar. When you press the space bar, it allows you to move the marquee around. Now your mouse is still held down. Release the space bar, and now you can resize that selection. Press the space bar, move it into place, release the space bar, and your mouse is still being held down. And when you're happy with it, you can let go. Go ahead and press Control D to deselect. Now, after drawing the rectangle, of course, the next option will be the square. How do we draw the square? Well, within these options, you don't see square. So it's probably under the rectangle marquee. So go ahead and draw, or click and drag, but press the Shift key. Pressing the Shift key will constrain it to a perfect square. Okay, press Control D. Let's try it again. Click, drag, press the Shift key, and you have a perfect square. Isn't that great? Now we have our rectangular marquee being drawn here. If you look up here at top, it says here, New Selection, Add to Selection, Subtract from Selection, Intersect with Selection, and Feather. We'll talk about that feather in a few minutes here, and we'll also refine edge. If you have New Selection, you can draw a new square out by click and drag, press Shift. Okay, now press the space bar to move it into place. Release the space bar, press Shift, and continue dragging out to have that perfect square. And you can do that because you said New Selection. If, for example, you would have chose this the second here, Add, and you would have drawn out, let's say, a rectangular, watch what happens. You now include both of them together. Okay? So just when you want to draw a new selection, you don't have to press Control D. You can just make sure it's on New Selection each time. But if you want to add to selection, you would just click here. Now, if we can add, we probably can subtract, right? So let's go ahead and select the third one, subtract. Maybe I want to keep this rectangle, or get rid of the rectangle so I can have this square again. Or let's say get rid of this square. So I'm going to drag out my marquee over this area. It should subtract this, leaving the rectangular left. Okay. I'm going to move my cursor within the rectangular marquee and move it back into place. Isn't that great? Now let's just press Control D for sakes. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk about the circle.